Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
dear
Krishna,
devotees.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
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 Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Dear viewers, please join us for Guru Pranati and some Kirtan while we have more viewers joining in, and then we'll start today's weekly session on Kirtan and Krishna Katha on the subject of surrender, Sharanagati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, dear viewers, आप सभी का अभिनंदन है, आप सभी का स्वागत है. हमारा जो वीकली थ्रेड है इस बार सब्जेक्ट है सरेंडर कैसे करें, हाउ टू टेक शरणागति ऑफ भगवान, how to surrender, and it is a loving invitation from Bhagwan to all of us. So let's understand it a little better so we can take gradual steps. So let's start with some Kirtan. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please sing with us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, dear friends, dear devotees, dear viewers. How is everyone doing? It's a beautiful weekend and we have so many things to do. But amongst all the things we do, there is a timely remembrance at all times to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And dear friends, आज का जो सब्जेक्ट है सरेंडरिंग टू द लॉर्ड. हमारे शास्त्रों में, हमारे वैष्णवाचार्य की टीचिंग्स में इतनी सुंदर सुंदर कथाएं हैं जिससे हमें बहुत एग्जाम्पल्स मिलते हैं कि किस तरीके से हम सरेंडर कर सकते हैं, भगवान की शरणागति ले सकते हैं, और कितनी एग्जॉल्टेड पर्सनालिटीज़ हैं जिन्होंने सेवा भाव और ह्यूमिलिटी और सिंसियरिटी से भगवान को सरेंडर किया। तो प्रभु जी, अब आप शेयर करें सबसे कि ये सरेंडर जो है हमारे शास्त्रों में क्या दिया गया है। सरेंडर के 6 लिम्स होते हैं। लेट अस डेवलप एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट दीज लिम्स आर। और बीच में हमेशा हम टाइमली म्यूजिक रखेंगे, अपने साथ कीर्तन रखेंगे, हरि नाम चैंट करेंगे। सो प्लीज जॉइन अस टुडे इन दिस सेशन। ये 1 से 1.5 आवर का सेशन है, और टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ आवर टॉक you can ask your questions and we'll try to answer your questions. हरे कृष्णा नीलम जी, हरे बोल। डियर व्यूअर्स, आपके कमेंट्स भी हम बीच बीच में पढ़ते रहेंगे। ऑल द न्यू व्यूअर्स, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन, और जो रेगुलर हैं अब उनका तो खास अभिनंदन है फॉर बीइंग हियर विद अस। हरी बोल। रीना गराई जी, जितने भी न्यू व्यूअर्स हैं प्लीज़ अपनी लोकेशन बताइए अपनी ग्रीटिंग्स के साथ, ताकि हमें आइडिया पड़े आप सब कहाँ कहाँ से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं। इट इज़ अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल फीलिंग टू सी ऑल ऑफ यू फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द इंडिया, डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। हरे कृष्णा। रामधोनी संदेश जी, हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। ओम रजनीश यादव जी, ओम हरे कृष्णा। हरि बोल। आई एम सीइंग ऑल योर नेम्स, और कुछ बंगाली में भी नेम्स हैं, उनको मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रही हूँ, बट आप सबका स्वागत है। उषा देवी जी, हरे कृष्णा। नीलम जी, यू आर इन मथुरा, वंडरफुल। धनंजय जी, हरे कृष्णा। राधे राधे। हरि बोल। एकादशी, यूएस में एकादशी कल संडे को फॉलो की जा रही है, और इंडिया में मंडे को की जा रही है फॉलो। और इसकी डिटेल्स आप वैष्णव कैलेंडर ऑनलाइन जाके ले सकते हैं कि एग्जैक्ट डेट्स और पारायण का यानी फास्ट ब्रेकिंग का टाइम कब है। हरि बोल। अरुण कुमार जी, उमेश पांडे जी, हरि बोल। राजू विश्वास, हरे कृष्णा। तो अब हम थ्रेड के आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। आपके बहुत सारे कमेंट्स हैं, थोड़े से हमारे मिस हो जाते हैं कभी कभी, उसके लिए क्षमा चाहते हैं। राम प्रसाद सुनार जी, हरि बोल। अरुण कुमार जी, दीपक बिस्ता जी, यू आर ओरिजिनली फ्रॉम नेपाल बट इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया करेंटली, वेलकम। अंकिता जायसवाल जी, कोलकाता से, वंडरफुल। अरुण कुमार जी, राधे राधे। जॉली दत्ता, दिल्ली से, वेलकम। बिरजी भूषण सिंह जी, हरि बोल, कुवैत से, हरे कृष्णा। उमा जी, करनाल, हरियाणा। देखिए, इंडिया के डिफरेंट पार्ट से सब ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, यानी कि बाहर से भी, कुवैत से भी, दुबई से भी। अश्विनी सहगल जी, हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा। जितेंद्र केसरी, जिबाज मंडल, हरि बोल। स्मिता जी, गोवा से हम पहली बार किसी को दे रहे हैं, बहुत बहुत वेलकम। जॉली दत्ता जी, अरुण कुमार, हरे कृष्णा। सो माय डियर friends, my dear viewers, dear devotees, as we speak, as we bring to you this beautiful teachings from our Shastras and Vaishnavacharya's teachings, हम बीच बीच में कुछ melodies भी sing करेंगे। हम बहुत experts तो नहीं हैं, but at the lotus feet of Bhagwan, we are trying to make a sincere attempt to get everybody interested in these beautiful teachings, that we should all engage in chanting the holy names. So please join us. Marie Wick watching from India. Hari Bol. Smita ji. Hare Krishna. Meetu ji, Assam se. Bangalore. Arun ji. Rohit. Hare Krishna. Neena ji. Hari Bol. Siba ji. Hare Krishna. There are some names and locations here. It's Bangladesh se, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Isn't it wonderful to see them all here? Amit Kumar ji, Uganda. I never heard in our live sessions anyone from there. So welcome all of you. Mahakal ji, Bangladesh. Amit ji, Hare Krishna. Sunita ji, India. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, dear friends. यहाँ पे हमें उड़ीसा से भी कोई आए हुए हैं। आई थिंक आई मिस द नेम। सो जम्मू से आई हैं सुनीता जी, हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा, वेलकम वेलकम एवरीवन। आप सबका मैंने कोशिश की है पर्सनली नेम लेने की. राम प्रसाद जी जयपुर से हैं और वी हैव फ्यू अदर पीपल. आप सभी का बहुत 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 स्वागत है, खासकर जिनका नाम हम नहीं ले पाए हैं. खास वेलकम. सो ट्रिनिडैड के भी हैं डिवोटीज इधर पे. और वी हैव, लेट्स सी, उनका नाम मैं एक बार बोल दूं तो हरि बोल विश्वजीत डे. हरि बोल. प्रभु जी, आप हमें शरणागति के जो 6 limbs हैं उसके बारे में kindly enlighten us so that devotees can relate to it, and later on if they have questions they can ask it. We have lot of devotees from Trinidad, Tobago. आप सबका बहुत बहुत welcome.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we call it cool mantra, right? So the 6 limbs of Sharanagati: Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, Rakshishyatiti Vishwaso, Gopatitve Varnam Tatha, Atmanikshepa Karpane Shadvida Sharanagati.
Wonderful.
So Anukulyasya Sankalpa, accepting everything that is favorable for our devotional service. Devotional service to who? To Lord Shri Krishna. So we should accept anything that is favorable. That is Anukulyasya Sankalpa. And rejecting everything that is unfavorable to the devotional service. So again, rejecting unfavorable. Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso. Accepting Lord as our only protector, that Lord will protect us in all circumstances. Understanding that, taking to our heart. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He is a well-wisher, he is a benefactor. So again, he will only do good to us. So taking his shelter, taking his protection. Gopatitve varnam tatha. So this is the 4th one, where accepting the shelter of Lord Shri Krishna, that he is our guardian and he will provide us complete shelter.
That's the 4th limb, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Atmanikshepa, surrendering everything, ourselves and everything that belongs to us in his service. So it is dovetailing. And Karpanye, humility, in a humble mood, we can surrender. So surrender is not like I'm surrendering everything. No, you have to be in a humble mood when you surrender to someone. And so Lord will provide us all protection when we take to surrender. So please remember this cool mantra.
हरि बोल. So dear viewers, आपके benefit के लिए मैं प्रभु जी ने जो 6 limbs बताए, right now he's told us the 6 limbs of surrender to Bhagwan, and I'm going to repeat it. If you want to take notes, you can take, because in a while we will ask you some little tricky simple questions like, please list the limbs of surrender, and if you remember it, if you carefully listen to us, you will be able to comment to us, and we will be very, very happy to see your comments. Dear viewers, विश्वजीत दे जी UAE यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट से हैं. वेलकम. हरे कृष्णा. विश्वनाथन जी हरि बोल. कश्मीरी कलरा जी हरे कृष्णा. और ये गंगा सागर से हैं नीलाद्री मंडल जी. तो 6 limb of surrender प्रभु जी ने बताया. Accept everything, all activities, everything which is favorable to discharge of devotional service, which is favorable for our spiritual advancement. 2nd limb बताया, reject everything which is unfavorable for our spiritual advancement, or coming to the point of surrender. 3rd बताया, we should totally depend on Bhagwan for everything. And उसके बाद next point बताया, we should consider Bhagwan as our ultimate maintainer. ये 4th point हो गया. And then 5th point is
Atmanikshepa.
Yeah. So giving ourselves fully to Krishna.
Yes.
Or 6th point, mood of humility. Yes. We should be surrendering in the most humble manner. तो ये तो 6 points थे, 6 limbs थे surrender के. Please join us for some Kirtan, because everybody loves Kirtan. KK. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
We have more viewers joining. For the new viewers or people who recently joined, we want to let you know we are speaking on the subject of surrender today from our Vaishnava Acharya's teachings. We just, before doing Harinam, we just shared with everyone what are the 6 limbs of surrender. And for each of them, now Prabhuji is going to share more details. And with each point, specific category of limb of surrender, we'll do some more Harinam. For example, the first limb, accepting everything favorable to discharge of devotional service. And after that, Prabhuji will explain little bit more about it, and then we'll do more Kirtan. So in this way, we are trying to make this subject more interesting for everyone because everybody loves music. और हमारे पास यहाँ पे अभी भी जो devotees join कर रहे हैं from different parts of the world, अगर आप new हैं तो please mention करिए आप किस लोकेशन से हैं. We would love to read that. संतोष कुमार जी, राधे राधे. हरि बोल. We have Moni Nagendra ji, volume less. Okay. Do you mean to say volume is less or do you mean to say volume ko less kare? Please clarify. Hare Krishna. I think Prabhuji, you always need to speak a little louder, yes. So they cannot hear you. Hari Bol. Krishna Krishu. Hari Bol. Jibej Mandal. And we have Amit Kumar Tiwari ji. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai Neelam ji. And आपने प्यारा सा कमेंट लिखा है on surrender. हरे कृष्णा. I think I saw several locations scrolling by और मैं पीछे scroll करके जाने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ, पर अब लगता है let's move forward so that we don't miss out the new viewers who are joining. हरि बोल. चित्रा जी, हरे कृष्णा, welcome. प्रिया कौल जी, राधे राधे. संतोष कुमार जी, हरि बोल. हरे कृष्णा. सो प्रभु जी प्लीज बताइए जो फर्स्ट लिम्ब ऑफ सरेंडर है, काइंडली एक्सप्लेन टू अस लिटिल बिट मोर अबाउट इट. What do we mean? We should accept everything which is favorable for discharge of devotional service.
Anukulyasya sankalpa. So again, we should accept that which is favorable for our devotional service. Even though sometimes we see that devotional service, this knowledge of bhakti, of devotion, is so easily available. People, they love free stuff, yet at the same time when it comes to knowledge, they ignore it. While it is Raj Vidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. So it is the king of all knowledge, it is the secret of all secrets, and it is pure. And it is the best of all knowledge. So all these factors are there. And you can directly get the progress from that perspective. So Anukulyasya Sankalpa is accepting everything that's favorable. Pratikulyasya Varjanam is to reject everything that is unfavorable to our discharge of devotional service. Rakshishati Vishwaso is seeking protection, that Lord will provide us complete protection. Raksha. Raksha means किसी भी क्षति से बचाते हैं, तो that's Raksha. And Gopatitve word of Tatha. So again, from that perspective we should understand. But to be able to take to Sharanagati, we have to understand the 6 essential principles. Right? Utsahan nishaya dhairya tat tat karma pravartana sangyataga satavritte sadbir bhakti prasiddhati. So again, utsahan, enthusiasm. We should be very enthusiastic to take to devotional service. Nishchayat, with great determination. We should be unwavering in our determination, in our goal of serving Lord Shri Krishna. Right? Dhairyat. And we should be very patient to receive the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. And Lord Krishna's mercy, it comes through his devotees. So of course we have to be especially, compassionate towards the devotees, the Vaishnavas, the Acharyas, the sadhus in our life. Tat Krama Pravartanat. Following in the footsteps of Acharyas, the 9 process of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So the 9 process of devotional service we should follow. Shravanam is hearing. Then Kirtanam is chanting and so forth. And then Sangatyaga. So this is Asat Sangatyaga. Do not engage in gossip, and people who engage in gossip, we should not associate with them. Instead of taking their association, we should, share Krishna with them.
And to this point, I would like to add, if somebody has, they like to talk a lot or gossip a lot, they should use this ability to do preaching or to speak a lot about Krishna to everyone.
Satovritte, following in the footsteps of Acharyas. So how do you follow in the footsteps of Acharyas? There are 2 ways. One is the wrong way and one is the right way. So what's the wrong way? Anukaran, like imitating them. That is the wrong way to follow. Anusharan, taking the shelter of their instructions. That is the right way. So we should follow the instruction. And one of the instructions from Acharyas is that we should chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, dear viewers, हम आपके कमेंट्स अभी चेक करेंगे थोड़ी देर में, लेकिन मैं आपको जस्ट रिकैप दे दूं. प्रभु जी ने जो पॉइंट बोला अबाउट एक्सेप्टिंग एवरीथिंग विच इज़ फेवरेबल फॉर डिवोशनल सर्विस, इस पर इन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया. श्रीला रूपा गोस्वामी ने 6 प्रिंसिपल्स बताए हैं विच आर फेवरेबल फॉर डिस्चार्ज ऑफ डिवोशनल सर्विस. इसको हमेशा हमें याद करना है. देन वी विल बी एबल टू ओवरकम our laziness, our impediments, and we will stay enthusiastic and determined to make spiritual advancement. क्योंकि सरेंडर का मतलब है भगवान को प्लीज करने के लिए हमें क्या स्टेप्स लेने चाहिए, भगवान को सर्व करने के लिए, सरेंडर के पॉइंट पे आने के लिए हमें क्या स्टेप्स लेने चाहिए. सो डियर फ्रेंड्स, अब हम करेंगे थोड़ा सा कीर्तन, लेकिन उससे पहले थैंक यू वेरी मच. नीलम जी, जो हमारे अनुकूल हो उसे हमें एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए. वेरी राइट. संतोष जी, हरि बोल. हरे कृष्णा. आई एम ट्राइंग टू रीड योर कमेंट्स क्विकली. बिप्लब जी, हरे कृष्णा, वेलकम. विष्णु जी, हरि बोल. हरे कृष्णा. वी सॉ सम मोर लोकेशन स्क्रॉल बाय. एंड आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है जिन्होंने आज इस लाइव पे पहली बार पार्टिसिपेशन किया है. कोलकाता से भी लोग हैं, इंडिया के डिफरेंट पार्ट से हैं और इंडिया के बाहर से भी लोग हैं. ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड पीपल आर जॉइनिंग. दिस इज़ सो वंडरफुल बिकॉज वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. एक छोटी सी बात आपको मैं और बता दूँ. चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने अपनी टीचिंग्स में बताया है कि डिवोशनल सर्विस और भक्ति बहुत ही रेयर है. और थोड़ी देर में हम एक बहुत ही प्यारा शरणागति का भजन शेयर करेंगे आपसे, जो कि भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी ने लिखा है. और उसमें ये बताया गया है कि ये जो डिवोशनल सर्विस या भक्ति होती है ना, सरेंडर के लिए हम भक्ति में एंगेज करते हैं, तो ये दुर्लभ होती है, बहुत ही रेयर होती है. और इसके 4 रीज़न बताए गए हैं जो कि मैं आपको अभी जल्दी से बता देती हूँ. इसका भी आप नोट कर लीजिए. डिवोशनल सर्विस या भक्ति बहुत रेयर इसलिए होती है क्योंकि ये इन्वॉल्व करती है कि हम भगवान के जो प्योर डिवोटीज हैं उनकी सर्विस करें, उनकी विशेस फुलफिल करें, उनकी जो विल है उनको फुलफिल करें, उनके इंस्ट्रक्शंस फॉलो करें, विच इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट इन द बिगिनिंग, राइट. सेकेंड रीज़न भक्ति बहुत दुर्लभ होती है क्योंकि इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड प्रॉपरली द डिविनिटी ऑफ भगवान. इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट इन द बिगिनिंग. थर्ड रीज़न है वाई डिवोशनल सर्विस इज रेयर. To be firmly fixed in loving transcendental service of Bhagwan means becoming free of all contamination and impurities. अन्य अभिलाषिता बोला जाता है. So purity is very difficult, but with training and practice that can be done. और चौथा पॉइंट जो है डिवोशनल सर्विस, व्हाई इज इट रेयर? After having done all this, there is no standard way whether Krishna, to predict whether Krishna will protect us or not. Because Krishna kya hai? To Supreme Personality of Unpredictability. So, isliye,
Krishna always provides us protection, but
Yes.
his way of protecting us may be
different for different
than what we
people, and our
expect, yes.
realizations are also different. So इसलिए dear friends, भगवान का जो merciful acceptance है ना हमारे लिए, वो हमेशा थोड़ा सा question रखता है हमारे thoughts में. We question about it, we are inquisitive about it, which is good, and that's the reason we can learn more. We can come to the understanding, okay, I have the teachings from Bhagavad Gita. And what has Bhagwan said in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18? भगवान ने surrender के बारे में क्या बोला है? सर्वधर्मान परित्याज मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वं सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. भगवान ने कहा है, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I will take care of all your sinful reactions. Do not fear. तो ये surrender का benefit है, ये surrender की blessings हैं. भगवान को जब हम surrender करते हैं तो हम fearless हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि भगवान से हमें complete protection मिलता है. Now please join us for some more Hari Naam. Hare Krishna, dear viewers, for those of you who are just joining, आप सभी का खास अभिनंदन है, स्वागत है, हमारा प्रणाम है. और आज हम जो टॉपिक पे ये पर्टिकुलर लाइव कर रहे हैं, इसमें हमने 6 limbs of surrender. We discussed the 6 limbs of surrender. And I would like to now request all of you who have been here from past few minutes, can you please share just one point of one limb of the 6 limbs of surrender, yes, if you remember. And if you don't remember, we can help you. We will repeat it again. Yes. Prabhuji, you were saying something?
No, I was just saying, please, any of them.
And Prabhuji has a wonderful story on one of the great personalities, Bali Maharaj. Yes. Prabhuji, आप जब तक brief में वो story बताइए, yes, and I will check who all are able to comment what are the 6 limbs of surrender we talked about.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So Bali Maharaj, he had become the emperor of the universe, not of the world, of the universe. तो बली महाराज ने जब सारे विश्व के सारे ग्रहों के जब अपने अधीन कर लिया था, जब उनको रूल कर रहे थे, उस समय नर्मदा रिवर के पास, जो कि भृगु क्षेत्र के नाम से भी प्रसिद्ध है, वहाँ पे वो यज्ञ कर रहे थे, यज्ञ स्थली पे थे, और वहाँ पे शुक्राचार्य अपने डिसेंडेंट्स, भृगु डिसेंडेंट्स के साथ, सारे प्रीस्ट के साथ वो वहाँ पे यज्ञ कर रहे थे। वहाँ पे वामन देव आए, वामन देव उपेंद्र, उनका नाम उपेंद्र है, वामन मीन्स मिजेट, सो ही शॉर्ट। तो जब आए और बली महाराज से उन्होंने 3 steps ऑफ लैंड मांगा, इमीडिएटली बली महाराज ने कहा, आई कैन गिव यू अ होल आइलैंड, आई कैन गिव यू अ होल प्लैनेट, व्हाई यू आस्किंग फॉर 3 steps? यू आर अ स्मॉल बॉय, यू आर नॉट वेरी इंटेलिजेंट इट सीम्स, बट वामन देव सेड आई वांट 3 steps। एट दैट टाइम, उस समय क्या हुआ, शुक्राचार्य समझ गए ये कोई और नहीं विष्णु है, and he's going to take in 3 steps everything from बली महाराज। तो उन्होंने बली महाराज को बोला कि don't fall for this, अभी तुमने व्रत नहीं लिया है, तुमने केवल वर्ड्स बोले कि मैं तुम्हें 3 steps दूंगा, you can turn back। बट बली महाराज ने जैसे ही सुना कि ये भगवान विष्णु है, right, everything actually we get is from him, तो he immediately rejected his teacher and accepted, to give Vaman Dev the 3 steps of land. So he stayed on his vow, Dhranavrata. So he showed that how dedicated he was and following his words. Sometimes people say, he shouldn't have done that. But basically, because of that, even though Shukracharya cursed him, okay, you will be defamed because in 2 steps he will take away. तीसरा step के लिए कहाँ दोगे? And Bali Maharaj was inspired. भगवान कृष्ण ने उनको इंस्पायर किया, भगवान विष्णु ने, कि वो कैसे उस सर्विस को फॉलो करें, क्योंकि जब पहले कदम में भगवान ने पूरी पृथ्वी लांग ली, दूसरे कदम में पूरा विश्व ले लिया, बोले अब तुम्हारे पास कुछ है नहीं, मैं अपना तीसरा पैर कहाँ रखूं, और अगर मैं अपना तीसरा पैर नहीं रख सकता हूं कहीं पे, तो तुम पाप के भागीदार होगे, क्योंकि तुमने अपना वचन नहीं निभाया। उस समय बलि महाराज ने क्या कहा, भगवान ये जो मेरा शरीर है ये अभी भी मेरा है, और आप प्लीज अपना तीसरा पांव मेरे सर पे रखिए, पूरी शरण में जाते हुए आत्म निक्षेप कर पड़े।
और इसको आत्मनिवेदनम भी बोला जाता है। जो 9 process of devotional service we hear so much about, the last one we hear about is, which is the most important, complete surrender, self-surrender, and who exemplifies that? Bali Maharaj. Isn't it, Prabhuji? In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have so many exalted personalities who are great examples of this surrender mood. And can you please carry on with what you were saying and give us some examples of these personalities?
So here, one of the amazing thing is, Bhagwan Bali Maharaj ko Sutala dete hain. Sutala planets, lower planets mein. But it is more opulent than Indralok. So understand, it is not the position where the planet is. It is the potency on the planet, and Vaman Dev himself becomes the gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj, by giving everything, all the Lakshmi, if we get Vishnu, at whose lotus feet Lakshmi ji is always eager to serve, right? जो लक्ष्मी जी हैं वो भगवान विष्णु के हमेशा पाँव दबाते हुए, तो उन्होंने पाद सेवनम का एग्जाम्पल है वो, कि बाय सर्विंग द लोटस फीट, भगवान के चरण कमलों की सेवा करते हुए लक्ष्मी जी को परफेक्शन मिलता है। तो उस सारी लक्ष्मी के बाद में अगर आपको विष्णु मिल जाते हैं तो वो तो बहुत बड़ा बार्गेन है। तो बलि महाराज ने अपना सब कुछ ट्रेजरी, एवरीथिंग दैट बिलोंग टू हिम, कंप्लीट किंगडम दे दिया, इवन अपने आप को दे दिया, लेकिन उसके बदले में उनको क्या मिले? उनको भगवान मिले। भगवान ने अपने आप को बलि महाराज को दे दिया।
हरे बोल, हरे कृष्णा। और अभी हम पहले कीर्तन करेंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं आपको बता दूं, चित्रा जी और कुछ लोगों ने कुछ बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट और अच्छे 6 limbs के आंसर मेंशन किए हैं, पूरे मेंशन नहीं किए हैं, लेकिन 9 process ऑफ डिवोशनल सर्विस तो प्रोसेस है सरेंडर करने का, जो कि है स्मरणम, कीर्तनम, श्रवणम, कीर्तनम, विष्णु स्मरणम, पाद सेवनम, अर्चनम, वंदनम, दास्यम, साख्यम, आत्मनिवेदनम, ये प्रोसेस है, हम कैसे सरेंडर को अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. लेकिन
process.
सरेंडर के जो 6 लिम्स हैं उसके बारे में मैं बोल रही थी, उस पर आप कमेंट करिए. और हमें केवल 1 या 2 पॉइंट्स मिले हैं, तो आपके रेफरेंस के लिए वेरी क्विकली मैं चैतन्य चरितामृत से, भगवान चैतन्य महाप्रभु की टीचिंग से आपको इसी समय वो बता रही हूँ 6 लिम्स. फिर से इसको ध्यान से सुनिए. संतोष जी हरे कृष्णा, जसजीत जी, रत्नु जी हरि बोल, बरसा रानी जी हरे कृष्णा. वेलकम एवरीवन. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट शरणागति, 6 लिम्स ऑफ सरेंडर. और इसे सुनिए, ये डायरेक्टली चैतन्य चरितामृत से पैराग्राफ मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, इसको नोट कर लीजिए. वन हु इज फुल्ली सरेंडर्ड इज क्वालिफाइड विद 6 फॉलोइंग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. ये 6 limbs of surrender हैं. The devotee has to accept everything which is favorable for rendering loving devotional service, transcendental loving service to the Lord. Second point, he must reject everything unfavorable to Lord's service. This is also called vairagya or renunciation, natural renunciation. You dovetail everything, all activities in service of Krishna. तीसरा पॉइंट है, devotee must be firmly convinced that Krishna will give him the protection. No one else can actually give us the protection. Being firmly convinced of this is called श्रद्धा, faith. और प्रभु जी अभी थोड़ी देर में हमें stages of progression of faith भी बताएंगे. डियर फ्रेंड्स, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट है हमारे शास्त्रों में, हमारी भक्ति लाइफ में. इसे हमें समझ लेना चाहिए. हरे कृष्णा. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ श्रद्धा और फेथ ऑफ ए पर्सन जो अलग अलग पाथ लेना चाहते हैं भगवान तक जाने के लिए, बेनिफिट होने के लिए, सबका डिफरेंट होता है. और but a devotee wants to always be in Lord's service, and in this way Krishna की जो मर्सी होती है भगवान की अपने डिवोटीज के लिए, he gives them all protection from all kinds of dangers or impediments on this devotional service. आप में से बहुत से लोग कई बार बोलते हैं, how do I overcome the laziness? How do I overcome the miseries of my life? How do I overcome my anger? I am mistreating other people. How do I improve? How do I become more sahanshil, resilient? So, we have all different kinds of areas in self-improvement. So, the ultimate solution points to depending on Bhagwan's protection and mercy. चौथा पॉइंट है, the devotee should accept Krishna as his supreme maintainer and master. ठीक है? He should not think that he is being protected by some Devi Devta. He should depend only on Bhagwan Krishna, considering him only protector. पांचवा पॉइंट है, self surrender means remembering one's activities and desires are not independent. The devotee is completely dependent on Krishna and he acts and thinks as Bhagwan wants. And what is the 6th point? The devotee is meek and humble. So humility, mood of humility is very important. Please join us for more Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare.
Hari Bol. Shishupal Vaishnav ji, good to see you here. Welcome. Jolly Datta ji, you have commented meekness and humility. That's correct. थोड़ी देर पहले I asked a question to all the viewers. We just explained the 6 limbs of surrender twice. And we would love to hear from you if you remember what these 6 limbs are. So please go ahead. Those of you who have not commented yet, please comment. We would love to see what are these 6 limbs of surrender? And don't worry, we will keep repeating it till you all memorize it. This is very important. We should understand how we can accept the loving invitation of our dear sweet Lord. Bhagwan is inviting us all, isn't it? And the way we accept Bhagwan's invitation is to follow his instructions and teachings. We have to follow the path of surrender. So dear friends, जब तक हम आपसे फर्दर टॉक करते हैं, फर्दर चीज़ें शेयर करते हैं, आप कमेंट करिए कि what are the 6 limbs of surrender, and then we will read your comments. And let me tell you, this is a very important subject. और हम आपके लिए कीर्तन की मेलोडीज लाए हैं, और हमारे पास एक बहुत ही प्यारा वैष्णव भजन भी है जिसका हम मीनिंग भी शेयर करेंगे आपसे. वो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी ने उसको ऑथर किया है, उस भजन को, और उनके कंपाइलेशन जो शरणागति के नाम से फेमस हैं उसमें है. हरि बोल. प्रभु जी, did you have some wonderful story or anything to add about this particular topic?
Let's discuss the second limb, right? To reject everything that is unfavorable. And that is by Srila Rupa Goswami. He's revealing this to us. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha sadvir bhakti vinashyati. So atyahara, eating more than necessary, acquiring more than necessary. This should be avoided because it takes us away from, it destroys our bhakti, right? It takes us away from the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Prayashas, doing over endeavor. We talked about pavarga, right? Pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. In Hindi, when we learn, akshar, right? So that's where. Pa is for parishram. Pa is for phena, jo muh mein, foaming hoti hai, jo bahut heavy parishram, bahut heavy endeavor karte hain, over endeavor karte hain, to usse phena, the foaming of the mouth. And then Ba is for bewilderment, so we get bewildered in this particular world, right? And then Bha is becoming bheet, fearful, and Ma is for mrityu, so a person who is in this material world working to survive, if he engages in this Pa, Pa, Ba, Bha, Ma, the end destination is mrityu, which means repetition of the cycle of birth and death. We don't want that. So, prayashascha. Prajalpa means gossip. Talking about mundane matters, we should not talk about mundane matters because that will distract us. Niyam agraha and niyam agraha. Niyam agraha means attachment to perform various kind of ritualistic ceremonies without understanding the reason behind them. So that's just an attachment to do that because it looks nice for name, fame and glories. We should not do that. And niyam agraha, we should not reject the rituals also, right? Just because we don't understand, so let's not do that. We should actually understand what is the reason behind the rituals. And if they are favorable for our devotional service, we should accept them. If they are not favorable, then we reject them. And jana sanghash, so we should avoid the association of people who are running after women, money and name, fame and glories. And lalyam, we should not be greedy. Because all these 6 characteristics that destroy our devotion. Hare Krishna.
I must add that this point, हमारे वैष्णव आचार्यस ने explain किया है कि लॉलियम, greed, material चीज़ों के लिए नहीं रखना चाहिए. Lust आ जाती है, क्रोध आ जाता है और हमारा fall down हो जाता है. लेकिन we should have the greed for serving Bhagwan. For pleasing Krishna, we should have greed and eagerness for that. That is favorable. So Jolly Datta ji, Hare Krishna. I want to clarify, few minutes back I requested all of you to please list the limbs of surrender we discussed. हमने शुरू में surrender के limbs discuss किए थे. आप please list करिए जैसे जैसे प्रभु जी detail में explain कर रहे हैं. प्रभु जी is explaining each limb in detail also. Right now he explained the second limb, which is reject everything which is unfavorable for discharge of devotional service. And before that he explained accept everything which is favorable to serve and please Krishna. So he discussed in detail about 2 limbs, but we listed already all the 6 limbs of surrender. So if you remember these 6 limbs, keep commenting, keep sharing, because we want to see if you got it. And अभी थोड़ा सा हम कीर्तन करेंगे. And again, Prabhuji is going to explain the third limb in detail. And we also have a beautiful Vaishnav song on Sharanagati. We will share with you all after that with translation. So please join us for more Kirtan. Everybody loves music. And we are so happy to see you here today, dear viewers. For those of you who are joining first time, please mention your location. And for those of you who have been hearing us for past half an hour, please list the 6 limbs of surrender. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Chitra ji. We have been seeing your comments.
Yes.
We really appreciate your participation and enthusiasm. और viewers के साथ हम share कर दें. हम जो 6 limbs of surrender आज explain कर रहे हैं. We have requested for those of you who were here from the beginning, please mention and write down those 6 limbs if you got them all. But if you didn't get them, that's okay. We will keep repeating them. We have covered 2 of them so far in detail. Prabhuji is explaining. Accept everything favorable to please Krishna. Reject everything which is an impediment for devotional, discharge of devotional service. और तीसरा जो है, वो है Krishna, to believe, to have that firm faith that Krishna is our maintainer. Prabhuji, can you explain this a little bit so that everyone has a good understanding?
Hare Krishna. So, Lord Krishna, He maintains us, He protects us at all times. And there is a very nice example of hunter Mrigari.
कहानी है, ये जो कथा है नारद जी की, बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी है. इसको ध्यान से सुनिए, आपको और समझ में आएगा कि किस तरह से हम भगवान को हमारा अल्टीमेट मेंटेनर समझ सकते हैं.
हरे कृष्णा. सो देवर्षि नारद, वो he was going through the forest, और सडनली उन्होंने क्या देखा कि जो जानवर हैं वो अधमरे से पड़े हुए हैं. किसी ने उनको तीरों से, चाकू से उसको उनको भेदा हुआ इनके शरीर को, लेकिन उनको मारा नहीं है. तो वो पीड़ा में है, देयर इन acute means extreme pain. So he sees that there is this hunter, Mrigari, and he is, half killing animals. Bolte, if you want to kill them completely. Why are you half killing them? And he says that iska bahut sin lagega tumhare ko. तो मृगारी he understands, उनके वचन सुन के उसको समझ में आता है कि अरे ये तो बहुत बड़ा पाप कर रहा है. और फिर उसके बाद बोलते हैं कि तुम अपना बो एंड एरो, बो को तोड़ दो, अपना धनुष तोड़ दो. और वो सोचता है कि मैं अगर धनुष तोड़ दूंगा तो मेरे को कैसे प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगा, मेरी फैमिली को, मेरे को कैसे भोजन प्राप्त होगा, कैसे हम लोग अपने आप को मेंटेन कर पाएंगे, सब्सिस्ट कर पाएंगे. बट ही टेक्स शेल्टर ऑफ द वर्ड्स, राइट? He takes shelter of the instruction of Devashi Narad. So we should take shelter of the instructions of sadhus, guru and shastras. So we should follow them. So understanding कि ये unfavorable है devotional service के लिए, I have to take protection, and taking protection of a devotee is just like taking protection of the Lordship, because devotees तो भगवान के चरण कमलों में रहते हैं. तो he breaks his bow on this and he takes to devotional service. Now all the neighbors, when they see that this hardcore hunter has suddenly become saintly, they become very pleased with this transformation. So Mrigari is performing devotional service and engaging his family in performing devotional service. So they bring food stuff to him as if they're serving a saintly person. जैसे साधु के शिष्य हैं ये देवशी नारद के शिष्य हैं. देवशी नारद तो he's a self-realized, he has a spiritual body. उनके शिष्य हैं, कितने महान हैं. ये सोच के सब लोग उनको अच्छी तरह से लाते हैं. And he's surprised कि Lord protects by providing all that we need to sustain ourselves. Now it is also very important that when the demigods approached Lord Vishnu, when he was to appear, जब भगवान विष्णु भगवान राम के फॉर्म में आने वाले थे, उस समय काफ़ी देवी देवता सब आए, बोलते हैं कि हम आपका प्रोटेक्शन चाहते हैं, so please help us understand what should we do. तो भगवान राम ने उनको क्या कहा? तुम सब मंकी बन जाओ, वानर बन जाओ. Now Lord's protection can be very unpredictable, and this is how he provided them protection. Hare Krishna.
So आप explain कर रहे थे पहले maintainer, and I think you touched on the fourth limb, which is of protection also.
Yes.
So for our viewers जो अभी join कर रहे हैं, for the new viewers, I would like to just repeat, we are talking on the subject of 6 limbs of surrender, how to take Sharanagati of Bhagwan. And we are requesting all of you to listen carefully so that you can comment there any of the 6 limbs of surrender you have heard about. Prabhuji is explaining in detail right now, but we have listed all 6 limbs. And also we shared a nice story of Narad Muni and the hunter, so that we can, Mrigari, so that we can understand, we can depend on Lord for our maintenance.
Yes.
और इसके बाद जो 4th limb है surrender का, Krishna as our protector. Prabhuji explained that also. So
there is also another example of Prahlad Maharaj, when his father Hiranyakashipu asked all his demon soldiers to kill Prahlad Maharaj. They could not kill him. Why? Because Prahlad Maharaj was completely protected by Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
और भगवान की जो पूरी बाल लीलाएं हैं, Lord Krishna's all the pastimes of his childhood, he kept killing demons one by one. And the entire, Brajvasis, they were totally dependent on Bhagwan for protection, right? So, in this material world, there is danger at every step, and people are filled with worries and anxieties, how they will survive in so many distressful situations. And without proper knowledge and faith in Krishna, there is no shelter from suffering. But with knowledge and faith in Krishna, we can run into the mouth of Aghasur-like demons, and just like cowherd boys, जो भगवान कृष्ण के बाल लीला में जो उनके मित्र थे, वो क्या करते थे और क्या कहते थे? वो कहते थे, even if he is a demon, Krishna will save us. और इसी तरह हम भी यही मूड रख सकते हैं भगवान से प्रोटेक्शन के लिए और fearless होने के लिए. So, dear friends, please join us for some more Kirtan, and after that we'll explain to you the remaining 2 limbs of Sharanagati.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Bol.
Dear viewers, so wonderful to see you all. In this session of surrender, we are developing and understanding how we can follow this process of surrender. Bhagwan gave these precious teachings to Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that surrender unto me, pay your homage to me, worship me, become my devotee. I will take care of you. Do not fear. So the message for us, all of us in these Kali age times, is to follow the instructions of Bhagwan and surrender to Bhagwan for his protection. हमारे जो गुरु महाराज हैं, he always is reminding us about the beautiful teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada has kindly explained in all his purports the message in Shastras, which has become easy for us to understand. So our Guru Maharaj often likes to say about surrender, that surrendering to Krishna means getting attached to the process of hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting means Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam, when we hear about the teachings, when we hear about the shlokas in Shastras, that purifies our heart, mind and soul. And when we do Kirtanam, Kirtanam means singing the Harinam, but also glorifying Bhagwan, glorifying the holy names, glorifying the devotees of Bhagwan who are very dear to him. So in this way, we can develop attachment to the holy names, attachment to the devotional life, attachment to different ways, different activities, how we can surrender to Bhagwan and please Bhagwan and serve Bhagwan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, do you want to share now, explain the surrender topic, fifth point, which is
protection.
Yes, you actually mentioned protection.
Right. But there's so many examples. I can share one quickly.
So we have actually humility, and we have full giving ourselves fully, right?
Yes.
These are the fifth and sixth, because we are running out of time
Yes,
also, right? This is a vast subject. Probably we'll do like this as a first session on this topic. We'll come back next week again with a session, second session on this topic of surrender. So now within next few minutes, before we end the live, Prabhuji will explain to us the fifth limb, which is of humility, and sixth limb, which is giving ourselves fully.
Karparniya is humility. So again, how to be humble, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, right? He is saying, Taradapi shunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So becoming more humble than the grass on the street, more tolerant than the tree, and ready to give all respects to others, but not expecting any respect for ourselves. We can chant, we can glorify eternally, constantly. Kirtaniya sadahari.
Yes, and humility ke bare mein, there is mention in Shikshashtakam also, right?
Yes, this is from Shikshashtakam.
Yeah.
So again, this verse is the third verse of Shikshashtakam.
Yeah.
And we see the examples where the devotees, they just surrender to Lord's wish. We talked about the example for Ramayana. So when Lord was appearing as Ramchandra, he asked all the demigods to appear as vanas, as monkeys, and they all agreed because they were humble, they surrendered. And there are many wonderful examples. We also see the example of Gajendra, who plucks a flower, lotus flower, raises it in complete surrender, complete humility, that you provide me protection. So Lord provide all of the things when we are humble. And when we are proud, He chastises us like He chastises Indradev, right?
Yes.
Right
So
after Govardhan
yeah.
Leela.
So the mood of humility is so critical for our spiritual progress. And real surrender comes from realizing we can't do anything without anukampa, mercy of Bhagwan, without the help of Bhagwan. And humility allows us to let Bhagwan take a lead in our life. It allows us to open our hearts to His instructions and to serve Him through His dear, pure devotees, His representatives in this material world. That's why, dear friends, it's very important to take shelter of a pure soul and take the training on how to serve and please Krishna in a mood of surrender. और जो भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जी हैं, जो श्रीला प्रभुपाद के गुरुजी थे, उन्होंने बोला that beginning of humility is absence of enjoying mentality. Because our nature is, we all want to have enjoyment and pleasure. But when we look for enjoyment in material things like in matter, in things that don't endure, we become takers, exploiters. And so to reinstate our spiritual consciousness, we need to practice what? Giving and serving. That's why it's very important to be humble, and in a mood of humility, we have to give and serve. Hare Krishna. Prabhu ji, jo last limb hai surrender ka, giving ourselves fully. Can you explain this little bit?
We talked about Bali Maharaj case. He completely gave himself in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. So again, that is a wonderful example where Bali Maharaj, he even said, my body is also for your service. Not just all my belongings, but even I, very self. So he is setting that example. Another example that Acharyas give of gopis, Radharani and her Sakhis. They fully surrendered to Lord Krishna's desire for His pleasure. So we should be pleasing Lord Shri Krishna by surrendering at His lotus feet and ready to give up anything. Another example is Parikshit Maharaj. When Lord desired that, okay, he would be cursed by the Brahman boy Shringi, he accepted that curse, that this is Lord's mercy. And Lord at that time wanted him to come back home quickly. Right? He was the emperor of the world. He decided to just surrender everything in Lord's service. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu ji ne abhi bhi explain kiya, last limb of surrender, giving ourselves fully. And इसमें हमारे आचार्यस बताते हैं कि what it means to fully give ourselves, body, mind and heart to Bhagwan's service. This means we no longer have any separate interests other than serving and pleasing Krishna. And to follow this principle, we serve advanced Vaishnavas, advanced devotees. By serving them, we learn, we get trained because they are sharing Krishna consciousness with everyone. And we see where we are not giving ourselves and what material attachments we are holding. We then understand what are our impediments. So we should look forward to serving and pleasing the devotees of Bhagwan, following their instructions. This is how we attract the attention of dear sweet Lord. And in this way, we make spiritual advancement. Please join us for more Kirtan. We have few more minutes left in this session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. So, dear viewers, हमने अभी 6 limb of surrender के डिटेल में knowledge share की. I hope everyone got a better understanding. And now, how do we surrender? We follow the instructions of devotees. We follow the instructions of the pure souls, Mahatmas. We follow the teachings of Vaishnavacharyas. We follow the teachings of Lord Krishna. भगवान ने भगवद गीता में अर्जुन को बहुत सारी टीचिंग्स दी हैं, assurances दी हैं. If we can read and understand, do the Shravanam and Kirtanam, we are on our path of surrender. And like Prabhuji explained, we should accept everything which is favorable for spiritual advancement and reject everything which is an impediment. And he also listed out total 6 limbs which we have explained. और हम आप सबसे request कर रहे हैं, those of you who haven't yet commented, please mention in the comments the 6 limbs of surrender. If you understood them, even one limb, just mention it. We would love to see that. And for those of you who have kindly mentioned and commented already, wonderful. We really appreciate it. Chitra ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So now, I think we can share the bhajan, Vaishnav bhajan with everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I hope I can sing it because Prabhuji is going to say the meaning of each paragraph I am going to sing. ये जो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी का भजन है, सॉन्ग है, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु जीव दया कोरी. I am sharing the link for this bhajan, so everyone can look at it and follow us as we sing it. Hare Krishna, Sonika ji. Hare Bol, Chitra ji. So, Chitra ji, can you confirm? Can you see the link? Anybody, please confirm. Can you see the bhajan link I just shared? We are going to sing this bhajan, and Prabhuji is going to read out the translation for everyone, and where relevant, we'll explain the meaning.
Yes.
But hearing about this bhajan helps us understand कि हमारे वैष्णव आचार्य कितने मूड ऑफ सरेंडर से भगवान को सर्व करते थे, प्रे करते थे. That will help us. Thank you, Sonika ji, Neelam ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this song, which is from the book Sharanagati. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sri Chaitanya has taught all the fallen souls about the importance of surrender, Sharanagati. And what does Sharanagati mean? Surrender to Krishna and distribute the love of Govinda to all. Who knows what Govinda means? Please comment. Govinda के 2 या 3 meanings हैं. आप comment करिए, हम आपको opportunity दे रहे हैं. What do you understand by Govinda? And then Prabhuji is going to explain what Govinda really means. It is a very sweet nectarian name of Bhagwan, and there are pastimes associated with it. But हम brief में उसका meaning बताएंगे, और उसके बाद एक्चुअली पहले हम ये भजन कर रहे हैं. भजन करने के बाद हम आपको गोविंदा नेम का मीनिंग शेयर करेंगे. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य यानी चैतन्य महाप्रभु कहते हैं, वन हु फॉलोज द 6 क्वालिटीज ऑफ शरणागति इज वेरी डियर टू हिम. और अभी अभी हमने आपके साथ 6 क्वालिटीज ऑफ सरेंडर शेयर की. प्रभु जी ने उनको एक्सप्लेन भी की, आपको स्टोरी भी सुनाई. Let me make this background music low. And now I'm going to make an attempt to sing this song. And so here it is. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Swaprasada Sviya Dhama Saha Avatari
Atyanta Dulabha Prema
Kori Baridana Shikaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana. Now Prabhuji will say the meaning of these two paragraphs.
Out of compassion for the fallen souls, Shri Krishna Chaitanya came to this world with his personal associates and divine abode to teach Sharanagati, surrender to the Almighty Godhead, and to freely distribute ecstatic love of God, which is ordinarily very difficult to obtain. This Sharanagati is the very life of the true devotee.
हरि बोल. So earlier जब हमारा सेशन शुरू हुआ था हमने एक्सप्लेन किया था कि डिवोशनल सर्विस सुदुर्लभम, इट इज़ वेरी रेयर, और उसके 4 रीज़न बताए थे हमने. तो यहाँ पे इन फर्स्ट 2 पैराग्राफ्स में यही मेंशन किया गया है कि भगवान केम एज चैतन्य महाप्रभु in golden complexion, Gauranga, golden avatar of Bhagwan. Why did he come? Why did he come to this world? He came with his personal associates and divine abode to teach what? To teach Sharanagati, surrender, and to freely distribute what? Ecstatic love of God in form of the holy names. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is very difficult to obtain. It's freely available, but people don't understand it, so it's sudurlabham. And this Sharanagati is very life of a true devotee. अब हम करने वाले हैं 3rd and 4th paragraphs. Please join us. Danyatmanivedana Gopatritve Varana Avasya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwase Palana Bhakti Anukul Matra Karaye Rasvikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjananagikara. Translation.
Yes. Translation of 3rd and 4th verse. The ways of Sharanagati are humility, dedication of the self, acceptance of the Lord as one's only maintainer, faith that Krishna will surely protect, execution of only those acts favorable to pure devotion, and renunciation of conduct adverse to pure devotion. So the 6 limbs of Sharanagati have been placed in these 2 verses by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
हरि बोल. So dear friends, ये जो हम आपके सामने लाए हैं शरणागति सॉन्ग, वैष्णव सॉन्ग है, ये भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी ने ऑथर किया है. So we are reading this song and its translation, so we have a solid thorough understanding about 6 limbs of surrender. अब हम कर रहे हैं 5th और just 5th and then 6th. So
just 5th and then we'll do 6, 7 together.
Yes. Sadang Sharanagati hoibe jahara tahara prarthan sune Shri Nanda Kumara.
Translation. The youthful son of Nanda Maharaj, Shri Krishna, hears the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this 6-fold practice.
So we learned how we get the protection and shelter of Bhagwan, because Bhagwan hears all our prayers. 6th wala ab hum ga rahe hain. Yes, 6th and 7th together. Rupa sanatan pade dante trina kori bhakti vinoda pode duhun pada dhori kandiya kandiya bole ami to dhama shikhaye sharanagati kor
Translation. Bhakti Vinod places a straw between his teeth, prostrates himself before the two Goswamis, Shri Rupa and Shri Sanatana, and grasps their lotus feet with his hands. I am certainly the lowest of men, he tells them weeping, but please make me the best of men by teaching me the ways of Sharanagati. Hare Krishna.
So dear viewers, आज हमने जो किया ये डिस्कशन, ये कृष्ण कथा और कीर्तन का सेशन, I hope everyone is benefited from it. We all have a better understanding now. ये जो हम 9 process of devotional service we talk about, to please and serve Krishna, it is how we come to the point of surrender to Bhagwan, how we live a life of Sharanagati, how we live a life of pure devotion. And Sharanagati sets the stage for our loving sentiments to fully develop. How? By practicing the 6 principles. Okay? So, how we can attain this love of Krishna. And Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita that he reciprocates our efforts to surrender. And what is that verse in which Bhagwan says he reciprocates to us on the degree of our surrender to him? Hare Krishna.
The final instruction is Sarvadam mam parityaja mamekam sharanam vajaham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishashmi ma shuchaha.
So what is this reciprocation? Due to this, we become enlightened by the knowledge of who we really are, an eternal spiritual being who has a loving relationship with Krishna and all his associates. हमारा जो संबंध है भगवान के साथ, eternal loving relationship. And result is we become joyful and we experience transcendent reality, and that becomes more and more joyful as we progress in this beautiful path of pleasing and loving Krishna, isn't it? Hari Bol. So, Prabhuji, do you want to add something?
Earlier, Lord Krishna reveals that he reciprocates according to one's surrender. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathav bhajamyaham. So, as one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. So again, yet at the same time, a pure devotee does not look for a trade exchange. He just is interested in pleasing Lord Shri Krishna. And who sets that example? Prahlad Maharaj. When Narasimhadev says, Lord Narasimhadev, what do you want? I want to reward you. And he's like, my dear Lord, this is not a trade exchange. This is an exchange of love where I only want to please you, because that is my desire to always make you happy and be your servant. So that should be the mood. Instead of asking, we should be the order suppliers. And the 6 Goswamis set that example. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Another very important thing. This session we have done on the 6 limbs of surrender. This is the session 1. This is a very vast topic and it is a very sweet and relishable topic. We can always learn more about. So next week when we come with this weekly session, it will be 2nd session and we will talk about loving exchanges.
Yes.
Because, when we serve and please Krishna with love and devotion, we also follow the instructions of the devotees of the Lord who are trying to bring us closer to Krishna, who are trying to train us and teach us. And in this way, when we understand how to have loving exchanges with them, meaning when we do Shravanam and Kirtanam with them together, when we engage in devotional service, seva with them, and so in this way, we become more and more pure, and there is infinite room for making progress in this path of bhakti. So, dear friends, आपको हम अब बता दें गोविंदा भगवान का जो नाम है उसके क्या मीनिंग्स हैं. आप में से कुछ लोगों ने कमेंट किए थे.
Yes.
So, प्रभु जी अब फाइनल उसके बारे में बताएंगे.
Go means cows, and Vinda refers to the one who gives pleasure. So Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows. Go also means the senses. So one who gives pleasure to the senses. Govinda also means that one who gives pleasure to the senses. And Lord has been called by the name Govinda in Brahma Samhita many times, and also in Lord Krishna's pastime, that name became again recognized with Lord Shri Krishna after the Govardhan Leela, right? So at that time, Indradev, when he, he actually worshipped the Lord, right? At that time, he also again designated Lord Krishna with the name Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the senses. And of course, Surbhi cow was also there, who gives pleasure to the cows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Ashikaran ji and many of you who have been commenting what Govinda means, that's awesome, wonderful. Thank you so much for commenting. Sangeeta ji saying controller of senses. Hari Bol Sangeeta ji, Ashikaran ji, Jolly Datta ji, Hari Bol. Dear friends, हम quickly आपके कुछ comments देख रहे हैं और इसके बाद final Kirtan before we end the session. So please stay and participate in chanting of the holy names. Rakhi Asrani ji, Hare Krishna. GM Patel ji, Chitra Gidwani ji, thank you for such an insightful and informative class on surrender. Thank you, Prabhu ji, my downwards. Aapko bhi downwards. Thank you so much for being there, participating in this discussion. This is all devotional service. Jolly Datta ji, eternal, you are talking about the soul. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, Jyoti Nagpal ji. Hare Krishna. I'm seeing some new viewers, new names. Would love to see where are you all from. And if you missed our this session on surrender today, don't worry. We will have a YouTube link and also we'll put this live in the playlist in this page. So you can always go back and watch this particular session and also our past few sessions. This is a new thread we have recently started. We do only once a week. We had been doing on Thursday evening our US Eastern Standard Time, which was Friday morning, but we now this week we moved it to Saturday morning of US Eastern Standard Time. आपका Saturday evening है South Asian countries में, जहाँ से आप में से बहुत सारे viewers इतना lovingly participate कर रहे हैं. Thank you so much. विजय सिंह जी, हरि बोल. Vivek Kumar ji, Mukta Shukla, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Chitra ji. Lord Krishna is merciful and very kind to all his devotees. Yes, Jolly Datta ji, refuge. Yes, take refuge in him. Okay, आपने मीनिंग लिखा है गोविंदा नाम का. चित्रा जी, हमने पहले क्वेश्चन किया था व्यूअर्स से, व्हाट डज गोविंदा मीन, और प्रभु जी ने अभी भी एक्सप्लेन किया. हरे कृष्णा. अरविंदा को दास जी, हरि बोल. जॉली दत्ता, शरणागति and renunciation. Yes, that's what we talked about today.
Very important aspect I do want to discuss. Renunciation and Sharanagati, they appear similar, but there is a gulf of difference between the two. Renunciation is like detachment, but that is partial. It's Falgu Vairagya. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. When we dovetail everything in pleasing Krishna, understanding that everything is meant to please Krishna, and we use whatever facilities, whatever abilities we have in pleasing Krishna, that is Yukta Vairagya, that is proper renunciation, and that in the mood of humbly to please Lord Shri Krishna when we perform, following the 6 limbs of surrender, then it is Sharanagati, then it actually purifies us and brings us at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Also, one more point is that master of the senses, control of the senses, these mean Rishikesha, right? And Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the senses. We're all looking for pleasure. We're all looking for bliss. We're all looking for ecstasy. So when we serve Lord Shri Krishna, when we take his shelter, then we get that. That's Govinda. That's the name Govinda. Hare
So,
Krishna.
अब गोविंदा के बारे में हमें और knowledge मिली है. I hope we will remember this and as we chant Lord's holy names. Now, very important, session end करने से पहले, कीर्तन करने से पहले, I want to ask you all, what are some of the important personalities from our Shastras who depicted this exalted mood of surrender? Please mention in comments. आपके ध्यान में who all can you think of had this quality of surrender to Bhagwan? It can be complete surrender or it can be a mood of surrender too. Shishupal Vaishnav ji, I have only one word, Krishna, superb energy coming from you. Thank you.
Hare
Hari
Krishna,
Bol, you are
Hare
welcome, Prabhu ji. आप सब, because of all of you viewers, Bhagwan naturally inspires us with all this energy and all these thoughts and to share with you all these teachings. Thank you so much for saying that. You are very kind. Amiyo Ghoshji, Prahlad Maharaj, wonderful.
Haribol.
Amiyo Ghoshji has started giving examples of personalities who depicted this beautiful mood of surrender. Jolly Datta Prabhupada, yes,
Haribol,
yes,
yes.
wonderful. Please go ahead, dear viewers. Who else can you think of from our Shastras, from our Vaishnavacharyas, who had this beautiful mood of surrender? Hare Krishna, we would love to read that. Dhruv Maharaj, yes, yes, that's excellent. Please carry on. बताइए और कौन सी personalities आप सोच सकते हैं जो शरणागति का पाथ फॉलो किया जिन्होंने, और वो हमारे अब रोल मॉडल्स हैं. हरे कृष्णा. Hari Bol, I'm reading your comments. Jyoti Nagpal ji, Dhruv Maharaj ji, that's correct. Already that has been mentioned. Please tell us more names. Who can you think of? Narad Muni, yes. Hare Krishna, Mirabai, yes, that's correct. Wonderful. People are coming with coming up with such beautiful names and examples. That's wonderful. और बताइए और कौन से नेम्स हैं, और हम 1 मिनट में आपको कुछ और पर्सनालिटीज के बारे में बताएंगे, उनके नेम्स लिस्ट करेंगे, and then we will again all of us join together for Harinam Sankirtan for few minutes before we end the session. We really appreciate all the viewers who are regular, all the viewers who have been there for some time. For various reasons they might have left, but most important, all the new viewers who are still here and who are expressing the answers to the question we asked. Jyoti ji, Rupa Goswami, wonderful. People are giving such beautiful examples and the names from our Shastras and Vaishnavacharyas. Kavita, Gopis.
Haribol,
Yes,
yes.
that's beautiful.
Topmost.
Who else is a good example of this surrender mood we have discussed today? So now, dear friends, I can share with you few other names. Prabhu ji ne Bali Maharaj ki story sunai. Then we have Amrish Maharaj, right? Amrish Maharaj followed all 9 processes of devotional service completely in mood of surrender. And then we have Elephant Gajendra. Someday we will cover the teachings from the pastime of Gajendra in this weekly thread. Okay? So thank you so much. एवरीवन, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. अमिय घोष, महाप्रभु जी तो साक्षात भगवान थे जो डिवोटी के रूप में आए और उन्होंने सरेंडर का मूड हम सबको सिखाया और दिखाया. दैट इज अ वंडरफुल आंसर. थैंक यू सो मच.
I want to add, actually, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to garland us. This garland is of bhakti, right? So when we get garland, we feel important, we feel honored. So he is coming to garland us. And the thread is the various processes of, devotional service. And the sweetness is of this surrender that we get from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this, all the flowers on this garland are prema, right? Goloka prema dhana, Hare Nam Sankirtana, chanting of the holy name. So that is what we get, the garland from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Hare Nam Sankirtana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare.
So अब कीर्तन का टर्न है. We all love music, and before we start कीर्तन, I want to remind all of you that please join us, okay? Be here. Even if you don't know the melody, you will catch it and you will sing all the time, number 1. And number 2, if you have missed the remaining session and if you just joined, please go back and watch this session. Please share this knowledge with your loved ones, with your friends, because as a true well-wisher, you want to help everyone coming closer to Krishna, to please Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu ji, can we start Kirtan?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Guru Deva. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा डियर व्यूअर्स, आप में से कुछ व्यूअर्स अभी भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं.
Yes.
फॉर दोज ऑफ यू यू वर हियर फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग, we really appreciate your presence. It's because of you viewers we get the inspiration and motivation to continue bringing to you teachings of Bhagwan, teachings of Guru Maharaj, teachings of Vaishnava Acharyas, teachings of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One more thing I want to mention. I have shared our WhatsApp group link and Facebook link for all of you. If you so desire to stay in touch with us, you can connect with us from any of those options. आपके लिए WhatsApp और Facebook की लिंक हमने शेयर की है. हरे कृष्णा कविता जी, thank you. Very good to see you here. I was looking forward to a lot of you. It's amazing that they come every day for our live sessions, and now I have gone so familiar with their names. When someone is missing, sometimes I am like, oh, this person didn't come yet. Amiyo Ghoshi, Haribol Ashikaran ji, Hare Krishna. So if the WhatsApp link doesn't work for you for some reason, some phones pe WhatsApp link is not working, then please send us a message with your phone number in the Facebook page, and we will add you to the WhatsApp group. Another important announcement, Sunday ko we are doing Sunday seminars. Okay, these are half an hour to 40-minute seminar on wonderful topics. और seminar means हम PowerPoint भी दिखाते हैं, and we give a very nice overview on certain topics. Last time we did introduction to Krishna consciousness, और कल जो seminar है उसका topic है anger management. And we will discuss how bhakti helps us manage our anger, okay? Because we want to serve and please Krishna, and we want to be able to take care some weaknesses of our heart, We are all not perfect. So we can make use of teachings of our acharyas, and we can manage our weaknesses. So the timing, Prabhuji, right now we have set the time as 6:30 a.m. US Standard Time, so that for the time zones like Indian time zone, it is 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And for all other parts of the world, please calculate your time, and I will send out the Sunday seminar Zoom link in our WhatsApp group. तो अगर हमारा WhatsApp ग्रुप ज्वाइन नहीं किया है, आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. हमने वो लिंक वहाँ शेयर कर दी थी आपके रेफरेंस के लिए, अभी एक बार फिर से शेयर कर दी है. और जिनके लिए ये लिंक काम नहीं करती है, हमारे फेसबुक पेज पे हमें ज्वाइन करिए, वहाँ अपना फ़ोन नंबर भेजिए, हम आपको ऐड करेंगे. हरे कृष्णा. Yes, Chitra ji, 6:30 a.m. US Eastern Standard Time. And I know it's pretty early actually, but if you're interested, please join us. This is, how we are trying to manage our time, because Sunday is a very wonderful, busy day, engaging us all in Krishna's service. So we are trying to make it happen for everyone. What do we have here? Hare Krishna. I would like to thank some of our viewers who expressed their presence through their likes. Bhagwan Das Kanodia, Sumitra Sarkar, Kuldeep Chauhan, Sanjay Kumar Datta, Chitra Sharma, Nitya Nand Singh, और बहुत प्यार से जिन्होंने लाइक किया है, सिद्धू सिद्धताओ, स्मिता दास, अरूप सरकार, चिकनव, शिशुपाल वैष्णव जी, नंदिनी पटनायक जी. ये कुछ नेम्स हैं जो हमने रीड अलाउड किए.
Thank you to all.
to just reciprocate to all the love we are getting from you all viewers. Okay, Chitra ji, we will certainly see you then tomorrow. अब हमें आज्ञा दीजिए. श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीला भगवत पाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव विंद की जय. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai.